Hey friends, have you ever looked at a slice of bread, a bagel, or a plate of pasta and felt fear? Not just calories, not just carbs, but real fear that this food was going to undo you? I know that fear all too well. From childhood into midlife, I carried the fear of food, especially carbs. That shaped how I ate, how I thought about myself, and even how I saw myself. But here's the truth. Food isn't the enemy. Fear is. And in today's episode, I want to share my story of learning to walk from fear into freedom and give you practical steps you can try this week to change how you see food, maybe. But first, welcome to Graceful Growth in Midlife, the podcast where we explore faith, health, and purpose in this season of life. I'm Teresa, and each week we'll learn, reflect, and take small steps towards growing with grace. All right, let's dig in. Food fear has been with me forever. For me, it started as a child. I grew up with my mother constantly fasting and going on fruit diets, or that dreaded lemonade diet. Do y'all remember that phase? Molasses, cayenne pepper. Ooh. My grandmother was downing tonics while cooking the best, authentic Hungarian food, the fattest recipes, all fat and flavor, and a family that dwelled heavily on appearance. I struggled even as a child to stay thin and found the constant passive-aggressive comments meant to be said with love literally gutted me from the inside out. I didn't really know it though. It became to the point where food was my enemy. I feared it. I knew if I even looked at it, I would gain weight. I spent my teen years starving myself and going on week-long fruit diets to keep it under control. Then one day I met a man, settled in, and the weight started piling on. I spent 20 years overweight and miserable. I felt hopeless, like I was too huge. It was too huge of a challenge to overcome. I told myself I couldn't do it, that it would never happen. Then one day something changed. I think it was turning almost 40. I think it was like 38 or 39. That set a huge panic in my spirit. My life was half over and I had to fix this. I know, not necessarily half over, but that's how it felt. I was in a real deep panic. So it started out slow, making silly changes like not being glued to every primetime show on TV. Talk about addiction. That was freedom. Boy, when I let that go, that was freedom. That led to eliminating the bowl of ice cream we enjoyed after the kids went to bed. Then I just stopped drinking Diet Coke. I didn't plan on it. It just kind of happened. Then I decided to do 2 weeks of the Atkins diet. I actually lost 20 pounds. And that was an amazing kickstart, let me tell you. Then I started exercising, just 15 minutes a day. It was more to build back strength and lose old age aches and pains. Then about 3 months later, it hit me. The reason, the root cause. That sent me into a deep spiral of what I call a depression. But really, I think it was just an internal journey. I spent a month where honestly, I couldn't eat if I wanted to. I had a chocolate sitting on my desk at work the whole time and I didn't even had no interest in it at all. That was huge. From that month came not just a huge 3 dress size drop. I went from a 22 to an 18. But a complete 180 in my confidence and expectancy levels. I know that sounds unhealthy, but honestly it was the best thing that could have happened to me, and I didn't even try. The whole time I continued to exercise 5 or 6 times a week, gradually increasing the length, adding miscellaneous exercises and stuff like that. And I did feel myself getting stronger and, more able to go longer. But the real change came because I discovered the root cause. It was like God spoke to my spirit and I was on a path of victory from then on. I would buy clothes a size too small, fully expecting them to fit me the next month. I had no doubt. My future was beginning to become clear. My body felt healthier and stronger than it ever had before, and in 9 months I had lost 100 pounds. And while all of this was amazing, I can hear you saying that's not sustainable. Let me tell you, it was for 10 years. People were telling me I should share my story to encourage others, but I couldn't. You know why? I still carried the fear of food like an anchor. My eating habits were horrible, and I knew no one could or should follow my example. When the whole family was together eating pizza and beer, I was eating their crusts. When I had hip surgery, my only thought was that I wouldn't be able to exercise and move and I would gain the weight back. I was still terrified of food. So 5 years ago, when all of our lives got turned upside down and I also suddenly lost someone I cared about, the weight just started piling on again. Of course, it happened gradually, as it does, until one day I realized I'm almost back to where I started. Now understand, I did get back on the horse and exercise, ate minimal to no food, because, well, that's what I'm used to, and that's what always used to work. But absolutely nothing was changing. During this time, I've had many conversations with God, praying, begging Him to help me fast for 3 days even. Nothing. Silence. So I thought. I think what He needed me to do was see the real cause, and with His help, I did start to see the root. My fear of food came from childhood, from bad programming. My whole identity and worth was built around being skinny. In my mind, food was not for health. It was to make me feel better, comfort food, to indulge in at celebrations, to make sure I ate a lot and quickly in case it was gone tomorrow, because I had 2 brothers that were 10 years older than me. And I'm sure you can relate to that. Something. Then you purge, then starve, etc. You know the roller coaster. You're familiar with that, I'm sure. So one day, I had the thought to research some ideas with my chat friend. It was like chat was being led directly to the answers I needed. I know. Okay, now, I do know that sounds crazy, but desperate times, Anyway, we worked out this protein plan I mentioned last week. Based it around me and my personality, habits, likes, dislikes, etc. Focusing on food as a neutral, not good or bad, but rather a source of nourishment. Mindset change. I'm working on that. That I didn't need to eat a ton to get the nutrients and protein I needed and should have. That a night out doesn't mean the end of the world and the death of my diet plan. That I could create a sustainable life plan, not a crash diet. And this is where we are now, working on my eating habits and my fear of food. I started a week ago, so I'm not going to brag on about progress, but I have noticed a few things. I'm not feeling scared to eat. In fact, I'm consciously enjoying what I do eat. I'm naturally eating smaller portions, eating when I'm hungry, but ensuring each meal has a good chunk of protein so I hit my target, even if some days I don't feel like eating a ton. I'm feeling more in control and focused. And I kind of think, even if I don't lose a ton of weight, my body will be healthier and stronger. This is completely new thinking for me. So the bottom line is, being overweight isn't just about the food you eat or don't eat. God designed us to have plenty. It's understanding who we are in God and how with His help we can seek, find, and overcome the real reasons we feel the way we do about food or even our bodies. The problem wasn't in the food. The problem was the fear, and the fear steals peace. So now I know I'm not alone. So many women my age carry old food scars. Maybe you grew up in that clean plate club. I don't think I ever had that. I can't remember. Maybe you were told carbs make you fat. Absolutely. Maybe diet culture drilled into your head what you could and couldn't eat. Don't eat carbs, don't eat protein, don't eat this, don't eat that. We've all been there. Okay, so I had mentioned that my old ways of starving myself no longer worked. And I decided to dig a little bit deeper into the resources. I didn't have as much time as I would have liked to have gotten a user-friendly for dummies type guide, because what always comes out is it's very scientific and kind of boring. So I am going to dig a little bit deeper, and maybe we can break these down into different episodes and study them a little more. But for now, I'll just kind of read out a little bit from each. Okay, so the first one was your metabolism didn't crash, your body composition did, right? So as you get older, you lose more muscle and you gain more fat. And if you're not working out with weights and increasing your protein and including creatine, you're going to struggle with keeping your muscle mass. As well, menopause transition accelerates that. Awesome. Hormones push fat towards the midsection and nudge insulin resistant. We can all relate to this one, I'm sure. Anabolic resistance and lower spontaneous movement. So with age, muscle is less responsive to small protein doses. We need the bigger, loose and rich servings, which is like your meats. Like 25 to 30 grams per meal. Which is pretty much what I'm doing now. Your NEAT, so I think that's like your resting, your sedentary, where you're still burning calories while you're sitting. That starts to slow down. Sleep and stress amplify hunger and cravings, right? Short, poor sleep shifts increases appetite for calorie-dense foods. If you're tired, you're cranky, you're going to grab the donut before you go to grab the protein. That's common sense. And medications and your thyroid can add friction. This is definitely one to study. I don't actually take any medications, so it's hard for me to relate to this one, but let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think it would be good to dive in a little bit deeper, especially if you are on any kind of antidepressants or beta blockers, or I think even like heart medications. Definitely worth looking into. Okay, so what works better now? What can we do to kind of reset? Like we said, protein at every meal, 30 grams at breakfast and post-workout. So basically, you just try and balance 30 grams a meal, lift weights 3 days a week, and maybe walk for 10 to 15. I like interval training. That's kind of what my routine is. I found it very powerful the first time I lost weight, where you're just you do like kind of a fast, heavy blitz, and then you do something slower and you go back and forth. It's very powerful. Bedtime routine. Make sure you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep and increase your fiber. Of course, audit your medications with your doctor, and creatine, 3 to 5 grams per day. Okay, back to the food fear thing. Here's the truth. Food fear doesn't keep us healthy. It keeps us trapped. Meals become math problems instead of moments of nourishment and connection, and that is not what God intended. So how do we begin to walk out of fear and into freedom? Let me share a few changes that I've been making that might help you. Neutral language, like I mentioned earlier. Food isn't good or bad, it's nourishment. Some foods energize, some foods comfort, some foods celebrate, but none of them define us. Add, don't restrict. Instead of obsessing over what to cut, I focus on adding more protein, more color, more fiber. This naturally crowds out the rest. Permission? Yes, you can enjoy bread, coffee, and even a Coors Light, because that is my drink of choice, once in a while. Balance matters more than obsession. And then God's perspective, the most important. Jesus taught us to pray, right? Give us this day our daily bread. Food is provision, not punishment. It's meant to sustain us, not scare us. For me, this has looked like trying to hit 140 grams of protein a day, not as an obsession, but as empowerment. I started adding protein coffee, to my mornings. I snack on biltong or chicken instead of chips. I'm not perfect, but I feel stronger and I'm not feeling guilty. Even veggies, yes, still a special occasion for me, are slowly finding their way into my meals. And each shift feels like a step closer to freedom. For everything God created is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving, because it is consecrated by the word of God and prayer. 1 Timothy 4:4-5. That's powerful. Everything that God's created is good. Food isn't the enemy, fear is, and when we receive food with gratitude, fear begins to lose its grip. So, I'm not going to do my 30-day healing journey prompts today because I think this went a little longer, but here's something you can ponder over this week that fits perfectly. What is one food I've labeled bad, or you've labeled bad, that you want to release fear around? How can you reframe it as a gift from God? What's the most famous? Carbs. I'd love for you to take that question with you this week. Write it down, pray over it, maybe even try that food again, this time with gratitude instead of fear. And here's my challenge for you this week. Pick just one meal and change the way you approach it. Before you eat, pause, thank God for the food, notice how it tastes, how it makes you feel, release the rules, and receive it with gratitude. One meal, one pause, one step closer to freedom. Let me know how that goes. Share your results. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me on Graceful Growth in Midlife. If this conversation encouraged you, subscribe and share it with a friend who might need it too. You'll also find the link in the show notes to download your free 7 Days of Healing in Midlife guide, along with my companion journals, 30-day healing journey, and the 50-day guided journey, gratitude journal rather. And next time, we'll talk about something that's been transformative to me, which is strength training in midlife. I think this may be where we'll dig in a little deeper. Why lifting weights is one of the best gifts you can give your body and mind, and how to get started no matter your age or fitness level. Interesting. Until then, keep growing with grace.